Hey y'all, welcome to episode 44 of the Stay at Home Sons Productions. And today we have a very special episode today. We are going to be talking to the creator of Omni Studios all the way from Russia, and he has an amazing short film that we really enjoyed watching. And we have also reviewed it last week on the podcast, and it is called The Worm. So we are finally going to be able to talk to the creator about this very special film. So, Greg, I want to thank you for coming on the show today, man.
Thank you too for welcoming.
Yeah, so I guess the first thing I want to start off with is, in indie filmmaking, whenever someone presents me a sci-fi on a low budget, I am automatically interested because that is a very hard genre to tackle on like a lower budget. Because I think you told me this film was made on like $2,000 budget, which is so small for what a sci-fi film has to be. So the fact that you were able to actually go about that is pretty impressive, and we definitely had a lot of people on Instagram telling us about that. So if you want to go a bit into how'd you get into sci-fi and what inspired you to make the film.
The film was inspired by my D&D campaign, which I continually game mastering for 7 years. It started as just multiversal crossover of all the things that me and my friends love, and it suddenly grow into something much bigger, much bigger. I started watching John Carpenter, Ridley Scott, and it's just kind of came to me that I need to make something like this.
Awesome. And were any of your friends on the D&D campaign, did they help you contribute to the film anyway? Were they like actors or sound mixers or anything like that? Or did you have to get talent outside of that?
Yes, the guy who made the worm VFX, the alien, he is one of the new players. He came 2 or 3 years ago. My girlfriend is also a player. She was an assistant director. She was an assistant director. I'm sorry. Also, one of the players who already left made the police costumes, the one with neons, and many guys inspired me with some script tropes that was based on their characters.
Got you. And I kind of know a little bit about D&D. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's kind of like, if I know right, it's kind of like you make a world and you kind of interact with it. So it's kind of in a weird way, like a predecessor to filmmaking. So would you say that that is kind of an interesting way to maybe get inspiration if you're a filmmaker and maybe start playing that a little bit to kind of help you with your world building skills?
Yes, absolutely. And not only world building, the dialogues, character dynamics, it's all very helpful.
Well, I think that's really interesting. And, I don't know a whole lot because we interview filmmakers from all around the world, but you're our first filmmaker we've ever interviewed from Russia. So is there a strong filmmaking scene over there, or is there a certain genre that's really popular over there? How's the filmmaking scene over in Russia, and how did that influence your work?
Nowadays, in Russia, we have only three genres: the war movies, the fairy tales, and criminal movies. I didn't want to make any of this because it's all boring, it's all overcrowded, overbloated. I mean, uh, we have literally five, maybe 10 war movies in one year, and Marvel in America make five movies about superheroes in a year. We have five movies about Kolobok and Baba Yaga in a year. So it's a very strange thing. And indie filmmaking is strange too because it's mostly an echanizations of our classical literature like Dostoevsky, Chekhov, and it's all a very low budget, pretentious movies that haven't got any brand new ideas. It's just study for a grade in your university.
Yeah, definitely. I see. Oh yeah, you can go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so did you get some inspiration from this movie just by like hearing about like story? Did you grow up in Soviet Russia, or did you like hear stories from family members about it or anything like that?
Oh, it's a strange relationship with Soviet Russia in our family. My mom grew up in Soviet Russia, but she absolutely hates it for strange reasons. I'm left leaning. I know about all the bad things. I just think that idea is great, but execution is questionable. And I just used Soviet Russia as a setting because it was popular in the 80s. You know, even Transformers had episodes in Soviet Russia. So I decided, why not? It would be fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool. I've always liked the Soviet Russia kind of vibe in films because I remember I was a huge fan of Rocky. I believe it was Rocky 5 when he fights Ivan Drago. I always thought that was like the
Rocky
coolest.
4.
I thought that was like the coolest. Honestly, that was like one of the films that made me kind of want to go into filmmaking. So I think it's whenever I see a film that's talking about that time period or kind of based in that, it always gets my interest for sure. But okay, so what do you think the hardest day on set was? Was there one day that was really difficult? And then what was the best day on set for the worm?
The worst day was the first day because it was my absolutely first attempt at filmmaking. I In school we all tried to be a bloggers in Russia because we had guys like Ivan Guy who at one point was as popular as PewDiePie, and we all wanted to be bloggers. But except that, I didn't make any video content. So at that point, I was picking up camera like fifth time in my entire life, and the best day on set was when we was filming a scene with the police. The one badass scene with the axe and all. It was our most professional day. We filmed like 9 hours straight without lunch breaks or something. It was pure energy, pure filmmaking energy. We all had a really good day.
Got you. And what do you think that in your first film? Because first of all, congratulations on this being your first ever film. It's really good for a very first film. I had no idea that was your first crack at it. And what do you think that you learned from the filmmaking process that you maybe would do differently on the next film?
Uh, the most important thing I learned is you don't have to do everything by yourself. I was doing, I don't know, maybe 20 people jobs. I was director of photography. I was setting up lights. I was buying tech. I was directing. I was script writing. I was drawing storyboards. I was hiring actors. It's all just too mind blowing, especially for a first time, and it's really
So,
says on quality of the movie. Especially, I made a very bad decisions with sound, and sound is a very weak part of movie because I always had problems with this. So yes, you should really try to find as many people as you can on your budget, even if it's as low as mine.
Did you think that this film would get as much popularity abroad as it did?
No, absolutely, because in Russia it's not popular at all. I say it, nobody, as I showed him, didn't like it that much as you guys. Maybe that's because I put so many Easter eggs on American culture. You know, John Carpenter and Contra and 80s isn't that popular in Russia. Maybe if I put some brother Easter eggs or other things, it would be more popular, but it is what it is.
that's interesting. Is there like a festival, like a film festival scene in Russia, like where you can go and like get your movie screened or anything like that? Because we have a lot of that in America where you can go out and get your film screened. Because I think this film would do really good in like American film festivals for sure. I think it could get programmed easily.
Yes, I won one Russian festival in Moscow, the festival for like outcasts who didn't get picked on any other festivals. But yes, we have a lot of film festivals in Russia, a lot of cool ones. I think Woody Allen came to Moscow festival in last year, but they all very expensive and have very strict rules on movies because we have a lot of censorship in the last years. Even you can't even say F word in Russian movies. It will be banned straight. Uh, you can show gore. You can't show controversial political stuff. It's all very tight place to make a movie, especially something original like mine.
Well, I want to say, man, I mean, if with all the censorship and all the ways it makes it kind of hard to, make the art you want, I want to applaud you even more for being able to make this film the way you wanted to make it with all the restrictions on you, man. That takes a lot of guts. And have you ever maybe thought of considering maybe relocating to like the West over like America or like a Europe to maybe pursue filmmaking more as it grows?
Oh, it would be very cool, but it's so expensive nowadays with all the sanctions on even airlines. It would cost around $2,000 just to get to USA. I don't, and my salary is like 700 US dollars. So but I'm trying to get a job in Canada right now with my telecommunications degree. It's not going good, but I'm trying.
Well, whatever we can do to get you over here, man, we will. Because I really like your talent. I really like your ability, man. And I just think you would do so well in a place like the West where you could have that kind of filmmaking. Because I'm telling you, if you were to program The Worm here, you would get into so many regional festivals with it. No, no question about it. And a lot of people, when I put it out, they were telling me like, I really like this film, and they just couldn't get over the fact that you did a sci-fi film that was very good and very watchable on that low budget, man. Like people are losing their minds over it over here. So I want to applaud you for that.
So I have to ask you, since you're talking about all these like 80s Easter eggs and stuff, what's that last scene where the alien goes through him? Was that inspired by the movie Aliens? Because I said that I thought that was what it was inspired by in our review of your film.
Of course, of course. We even had a storyboard where the cop that the worm ate, when he was like, crucified on a wall with all these eggs coming out of him, but our VFX specialist just didn't have enough skill. But mostly I was inspired by Contra, so it's like a double inspiration because, Contra was inspired by Alien and our postmodern culture and its finest.
That's crazy how you were able to use all those different influences on your first film, man. But so what's next for the studio? What are you thinking about next? Any new projects you're working on? Anything like that?
I'm working on a full-blown D&D clone, like Cyberpunk or Pathfinder. I want to get into this market too. I'm developing a TTRPG about those aliens from the worm, how are they live on their planet. Also, I'm making a first draft of a web series based off the worm. It will be like a mystery about a TV producer that want to make a story about all these events, and suddenly the group of rebels who know what really happened came into contact. Also, my girlfriend is working on a fantasy movie in this universe. It's an early draft of a script too, but it will explore the aliens in like 18th century when they first came to Earth.
Wow, so you're gonna expand on the Worm universe. It's gonna be like a continual. That is so cool. So there's gonna be a lot more content for the Worm coming up then.
Yes,
That is
yes.
pretty cool.
As I said, it was all based on my D&D campaign, and then I reworked it into a whole universe, which I called Omniverse. Yes, the worm is just a random dot where I decided to start because I thought the horror would be the cheapest option that I could make.
And I guess my final question is, are you planning on like any mass like distribution deals or anything like that, or are you just strictly gonna post them on YouTube and try to grow on there? Because there's definitely some ways that you could maybe, put it out to like streaming and stuff, and I could help you get on that if you need any help with that.
I would like some help. Yes, I was contacted with one small streaming for horrors, Horror Hound TV from Ohio, and
Nice.
they already released the worm there a couple of days ago. Uh, just besides that, no, I didn't get any invitations.
Gotcha. Well, there's definitely some good streaming distributions here in America. You know, like Film Hub's a really good one. Indie Rights is a really good one, and they can get your film put to like more different places. So that might be something you want to look into. You know, I can get a conversation going with you on them because I got a few contacts over there. So definitely, man, I'm just wishing you all the best, and I want to thank you for coming on the show today. And definitely send us any new film or anything you're working on, man, because we'd love to review it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode of Stay at Home Some Podcast. And remember, stay at home.